I will be reading from Buffalo Rising on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And our very first article, Buffalo has never lacked for people willing to fight for the places that make this city special, under the preservation category. Article by Bernice Rattle, Executive Director of Preservation Buffalo Niagara. Jane Jacobs once said, "Cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, only because and only when they are created by everybody." And that spirit is alive and well in Buffalo, where preservation has always been a community effort. And on Thursday, May 28th, Preservation Buffalo Niagara will host the 2026 Preservation Awards in the stunning ballroom at the historic Richard Olmsted campus, celebrating 10 extraordinary award winners helping shape the future of Western New York. This year's honorees prove that preservation is anything but boring, from the adaptive reuse of one of Buffalo's iconic grain elevator complexes to the restoration of historic gargoyles at 800 West Ferry and the community-led efforts to reconnect the historic Humboldt Parkway corridor. These are stories of imagination, reinvestment, and civic pride. And this work matters to our Western New York economy. Heritage tourism brings 13.4% of Buffalo's visitors here, specifically for our history and architecture, generating more than $658 million in annual local spending and supporting over 8,000 jobs. Preservation is not about freezing the past. It is about creating vibrant neighborhoods, fueling small businesses, and keeping Buffalo distinctly Buffalo. The Preservation Awards celebrate exactly that. Join us for the fun. Tickets include open bar, appetizers, and dinner, plus an evening with some of Buffalo's most passionate civic leaders, architects, developers, preservationists, and community champions. Best of all, every ticket supports Preservation Buffalo Niagara's advocacy work, protecting historic places across our region. If you love Buffalo's architecture, comeback stories, and bold ideas, this is your event. Join us on Thursday, May 28th at the Richardson Complex Ballroom and celebrate the 10 people and projects helping write Buffalo's next chapter. And our next article is from the business section. Getting lit. Canal Bank signage proposed for 500 Pearl. Downtown skyline could be getting a little more glow. Canal Bank is seeking to add signs on the east and south side facades of 500 Pearl Street, owned by Ellicott Development. Canal Bank is a subsidiary of Chemung Canal Trust Company, according to financial disclosures. The company opened a representative office in the building in March to support the growing operations of its Canal Bank division. A variance is needed for the size of the internally lit signs, which the applicant, FlexLoom Signs, justifies as necessary for visibility. 175 square feet is allowed and 291 square feet is proposed. Chemung Canal Trust Company was founded in Elmira in 1833. Canal Bank opened its first local branch at 5529 Main Street in Williamsville, a former Bank of America branch, in 2024. Its second area branch has been proposed for Union Road in West Seneca. And our next Buffalo Rising article. This summer, take advantage of all Erie County has to offer Author, Deputy County Executive Lisa Chimera. In Buffalo and Erie County, we are fortunate to have great cultural, educational, and recreational institutions. As we approach the end of the school year, I would like to take the opportunity to highlight ways for families to take advantage of these spaces during the summer months. First, I remind everyone that in July, our nation will celebrate its 250th birthday or semi-quincentennial. America 250 will be celebrated nationwide, including here in Erie County. You can check out what's going on locally at Erie County 250, but be sure to check back regularly for newly added events. In the meantime, you can get involved now by making a 9-inch by 9-inch fabric square sewn or constructed using glue for the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library's We the People Community Quilt Project. And children are invited to participate too throughout the rest of this month and June. Explore and More Children's Museum will offer quilt workshops for children ages 5 through 10 at BECPL branches. For specific dates and times, you can check out our website, www.buffalolib.org/what's-happening. A quilt of these unique fabric squares will be sewn together in August. With 37 branches and the Library on Wheels bookmobile, the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library stretches across our entire community. Membership is free to residents of New York State, and your library card also serves as your ticket to special deals through the VIP Very Important Pass program. Just show your library card to receive special deals at any of the 2026 VIP program participants, including Buffalo AKG Art Museum, the Buffalo History Museum, Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens, Buffalo Museum of Science, Buffalo Naval Park, Buffalo Spree Magazine, Explore and More, Children's Museum, Frank Lloyd Wright's Gray Cliff, Hall Walls Contemporary Arts Center, Irish Classical Theater Company, Just Buffalo Literary Center, Penn-Dixie Fossil Park and Nature Reserve, Road Less Traveled Theater, and Theodore Roosevelt Inaugural National Historic Site. Visit a branch to apply or visit www.buffalolib.org/library-cards. For a day of outdoor fun, consider visiting one of Erie County's parks or forestry areas. With miles of trails for hiking and biking, tennis courts, and picnic areas, there is so much to explore. Additionally, our park rangers have been working hard to put on a full calendar of programs and activities for the upcoming season. You can view the full schedule and more by visiting www.erie.gov/parks/events. And for working families, Erie County is proud to support summer camp programs through both Say Yes Buffalo and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Buffalo. Camps provide children with the opportunity to take part in arts and crafts, outdoor activities, and other educational experiences. Registration is still open, but spots are filling fast. More information is available at www.sayyesbuffalo.org/summer and at www.bgcbuffalo.org. And finally, I wish all our families, students, teachers, and school staff a wonderful end to their academic year and look forward to a wonderful and historic summer in Erie County. And our next article is under the community section. Kickstarter, bring back the Blizzard of 77 travel game. As the 50th anniversary of the Blizzard of 77 draws near, an effort is underway to resurrect the infamous board game that was co-created by graphic artist Charles Chuck P. Marino and his wife Donna. It was Chuck who initially got stranded in his car and then, at a firehouse for days on end that came up with the idea for the game. Apparently, when he finally made his way home, he found that his son had been playing with some toy cars and a piece of cardboard in a playful Blizzard-like scenario. Seeing this, Chuck was struck with the idea to create the board game that would go on to sell 40,000 plus copies regionally. Fast forward almost 50 years, Paul Marino, the child that inspired his father to create the Blizzard of 77 travel game, is now attempting to get the board game back into production. In a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, he posted, "My dad, Chuck Marino, was making his way home from a sales call in the southern tier when the blizzard hit. Driving northbound along the thruway near the Irving Silver Creek exit, he came upon stranded motorists, people who had nowhere to go. He didn't keep driving. He stopped to help. Gathering up the stranded motorists, Dad joined others in driving a small group of Western New Yorkers to safety at a nearby Irving, New York fire station. For 2 days, they stayed there together, sharing stories, playing card games, and finding ways to pass the time in the middle of the uncertainty." While it's sad to learn that Chuck passed away a few years back, his memory lives on with the board game that he helped to create as a way to memorialize the blizzard as well as the selfless rescue efforts of the residents of the city of Good Neighbors. Now, Donna, Paul, and his wife Lori are in the process of bringing a limited edition run of the game back to life. The game will include carefully restored original artwork, retaining the fun of the original game playing experience, special 50th anniversary branding and design elements, premium upgraded components and materials. Anyone that contributes $40 towards the Kickstarter campaign will receive one 50th anniversary edition of the Blizzard of 77 travel game. The project will only be funded if it reaches its goal by June 15th, 2026. If the goal is reached, funds will then be processed with the game's estimated delivery by November 2026. Created as a true anniversary piece, this edition is designed to stand out for collectors, for families, and for anyone connected to the story. I've spent my career in customer service, operations, and strategy, bringing concepts to life. This project brings that experience together with something far more meaningful, preserving a legacy and sharing a story that deserves to be retold. What started on the impassable New York State Thruway, sparked by my playing with a toy car on a piece of cardboard on our living room floor, is coming back nearly 50 years later, and we'd love for you to be part of it. Paul Marino. The game. Race through the city in this fast-moving, family-friendly adventure where every turn can change the game. Players choose their car-shaped pawn and set out on the bright, sunny side of the board, navigating the streets to complete 5 everyday errands before racing back home. Movement is simple, roll the dice and go, but strategy comes into play as vehicles must follow the direction they're facing, turning only at intersections or key stops. Along the way, landing on weather spaces introduces surprises that can help or hinder your progress, keeping every player engaged and on their toes. But the real twist and what makes this game truly unique comes when the blizzard strikes. In an instant, the entire board flips to reveal a dramatically different game world. The calm city transforms into a snow-covered challenge with drifts, delays, and obstacles at nearly every turn. Players must adapt quickly as conditions worsen, navigating a completely reimagined board where progress is harder, risks are higher, and every move matters. With its dynamic two-sided board, evolving gameplay, and a perfect blend of nostalgia and excitement, every playthrough delivers a fresh, memorable experience for families and friends alike. In our next article, under bars and restaurants, the Underground Nightclub presents Underground Grill. The Underground Nightclub at 274 Delaware Avenue is widely considered one of the best dive bars in the city and Buffalo's oldest gay bar, has now expanded its horizons by introducing a loaded grill menu. The club, owned by Marty Crawford and promoted by Chris Armelli Darling, have built out a new 2U kitchen that is being run by Chef Trevor Darling. The thought behind this new addition to the club is to offer a substantial grill menu to those who have found these types of offerings in downtown Buffalo to be fewer and further between. By grilling up delicious hot dogs and paninis, along with some one-offs such as the Cuban and a Gyro, Underground Grill is looking to become a staple source of bar food for the fabulous and famished. And you are listening to a reading of articles and features from Buffalo Rising on the Niagara Frontier Radio reading service. Running a nightclub has presented quite the learning curve for me, Chris told me. In many cases, I've relied on the knowledge and experience of my staff to guide me, along with longtime supporters Patty Parisi and Kevin Van Wagner, who have both been instrumental in our recent success and who have taught me a great deal. I truly appreciate all of the support that I'm getting from my team and the community. I'm glad to see so many smiling faces in this bar again. The key to making this latest formula a success is the team effort that Chris brought to my attention. During a recent visit to try out some of the menu offerings, I could see just how prideful each of the contributors was, and they all had a hand in bringing the grill concept to fruition. The result? There is a new place to grab a delicious bite to eat downtown, whether it's after work or during a late night romp. It is purely coincidental that I recently ran across an article in Nap Lab that touted Buffalo, New York as the best city for late night eats. The article was posted on April 13th, which is about the same time that I stopped into the Underground to try out the food. At that time, Chris happened to mention that people miss the Old Pink and its famous steak sandwiches, for example. It's one of the reasons that he felt that a grill concept would be very popular with the late night crowd. Chris hopes to do his part in contributing to Buffalo's hot late night food scene, which Nap Lab spotlighted by saying, to figure out which side each U.S. city falls on, we dug into thousands of Yelp reviews across the 100 most populated U.S. cities, comparing average ratings for restaurants tagged good for late night and good for breakfast. The best cities for late night food are not only full of restaurants with extended hours convenient for night owls, but they're also catering to anyone out there craving a tasty snack. And number one in the entire country, Buffalo, New York, with a 4.29 out of 5. Buffalo's strong late night ratings might be thanks to the avid fans of the Buffalo Bills, who likely spend several games every season at their local late night sports bars and dives. The next time that you've got a hankering for some grilled food after work or after hours, be sure to stop into the Underground to see what all of the hype is about. The Underground Nightclub, located at 274 Delaware Avenue, Buffalo, New York, 14202. Phone number is 716-853-0092. The Underground Nightclub, 716-853-0092. And the hours, just so you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday and Monday, the Underground Nightclub is closed. Again, the days that they're open is Tuesday through Saturday, and the hours are 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Check it out. Our next article, Oh, Canada, is a matter of time, under the Metro section, article by Queen's Eyes. Just the other day, a friend and neighbor told me that she and her husband were heading across the bridge to see a Canadian band that I absolutely love. I mentioned to her that I had not heard about them playing at all in Buffalo, which they used to do fairly regular. She responded by saying that they don't play in Buffalo anymore because of the strained relations between the two countries. pondering what my friend had told me, I thought about how Sabres fans had sung the "O Canada" anthem after singer Cammy Clooney's microphone malfunctioned. When I saw and heard that myself, I actually shed a couple of tears. It was such a powerful moment that reaffirmed Buffalo's strong connection to our neighbors to the north. In response to the anthem singing, Molson Canadians stepped up and thanked Buffalo fans with a billboard as part of its Cheer Canadian playoff campaign. This incredible moment in time was a crucial reminder that the solid ties between Buffalo and Canada can never truly be broken. Over the weekend during Porch Fest, I passed by a house that was flying a number of flags, including the American flag, the Buffalo flag, and the Canadian flag. I actually stopped in my tracks and thought about all the times I've ridden my bike to Canada, had dinner at Ming Tai, eaten lunch at the Falls, Hamilton, Toronto, or walked the Canadian shores. This morning I received an email from the Kenmore Village Improvement Society, which spotlighted the organization's annual patriotic decorating of Delaware Avenue in advance of Memorial Day. I was immediately reminded of a similar patriotic effort in 2025 to fly American flags along Elmwood Avenue. Walking down any street in Buffalo, you will come across countless flags, ranging from pride flags to peace flags. Flying flags and buntings are excellent ways to demonstrate our love for our country, as well as ideologies that we stand up for. At a time when the country and the world are divided, I would like to express a sentiment that I think about every day: my love for Canada, which will never waver no matter how political sentiments might try to tear apart our countries. I want to add that this is not a political post at all. It's merely a post that intends to serve as a wake-up call that we are all in this together as a city, a country, North America, and a planet. Every day we wake up and try to figure out how to make our own lives better, as well as the lives of neighbors better, hopefully. And that includes our neighboring country, Canada. As the city of good neighbors, that is our duty. Our close proximity to Canada is, of course, the main reason that we feel so bonded to our northern neighbors. It's why we built out "Oh, Canada," even when the microphone is working perfectly. To think that sentiment is not reciprocated for understandable reasons is hard to swallow. CBS News reports that Canadian visits to major U.S. metropolitan areas have plunged by about 42% year over year, primarily driven by Canadians avoiding cross-border travel amid trade and political tensions, as well as shifts in their travel to overseas destinations. Yes, that is a bummer for Buffalo. At the same time, what's equally tough are the cross-border sentiments that we as a city don't have any control over. All we can do is to continue to sing and hang our flags and hope that one day we will be reunited with our Canadian friends. According to the Windsor Star, Americans and Canadians have fought together as official national allies in 6 major global conflicts, alongside countless localized peacetime or cross-border engagements where citizens enlisted in each other's militaries. The 6 major international wars where U.S. and Canada militaries fought shoulder to shoulder include World War I, World War II, Korean War, Gulf War, war in Afghanistan, and the global coalition against ISIS, Operation Inherent Resolve. And the list goes on and on. As we draw closer to Memorial Day and you consider what flags you will be flying, why not consider hanging a Canadian flag along with an American flag? It's time that we take it upon ourselves to try to mend our relationship status. We might not be able to do anything about the big picture, but that doesn't mean that we can't try to bandage a fresh wound that will take decades to fully heal, if not a lifetime or two. Just remember that time heals all wounds, no matter how deep. That said, they heal quicker when treated accordingly, instead of being left undressed and left to fester. And our next article from Buffalo Rising in the bars and restaurants section. Fired up, Chef Darian Bryan comes out on top of season 5's Next Level Chef. Article by Queen's Eyes. Chef Darian Bryan has done it. He climbed to the top of season 5 of Fox's Next Level Chef and has now walked away with the $250,000 grand prize, as well as a mentoring stint with celebrity judges Gordon Ramsay, Nyesha Arrington, and Richard Blaze. Chef Darian, who owns and operates Bratz Hill in Larkinville and who recently announced that he would be opening Reserve Steakhouse and Back of House Burger in that same neighborhood, celebrated his big win at a watch party at Rec Room. Against all odds, the father of two, who also happens to chef for a handful of professional athlete clients, did something that Buffalonians don't often get a chance to witness and celebrate: a huge win in front of a national audience. Now, Chef Darian can bask in his glory as we bask right along with him. From growing up in poverty in Jamaica with stretches without running water or electricity, to riding his bike to cook at Denny's upon arriving in Buffalo, to opening his own restaurants, to being featured in national campaigns with Dawn, Snickers, and Hestanto, to taking the culinary world by storm, I think that we can all appreciate just how lucky we are to have such a determined and accomplished chef personality in our midst. And our next article under real estate, college, done deal, 684 to 692 Grant Street. 2 properties on Grant Street have been purchased by a non-profit public charity affiliated with Buffalo State University. BSCR Corporation paid $315,000 for a residence and a vacant lot at 684 and 692 Grant Street. Grant Street Station LLC was the seller. Established in 2001, BSCR was formed accept gifts of real property on behalf of the college. Was formed to accept gifts of real property on behalf of the college, support campus expansion, and facilitate local development initiatives. Campus expansion is not expected anytime soon. Buffalo State is facing a $16.2 million structural deficit, driven by a long-term enrollment decline and past Great Recession era cuts. The university is executing the framework for fiscal stability, which entails academic program deactivations, hiring freezes, and workforce optimization to stabilize its budget by 2028. The university has long-eyed properties west of Grant Street for expansion. In 2019, the university was named designated developer of the City of Buffalo Auto Impound site at 166 to 170 Dart Street, adjacent to the Skagjakwada Expressway. Firm plans were never announced for the site, but their 2013 facilities master plan called for a new campus maintenance center, a parking ramp, and campus hub combining housing and academic uses, was shown on the properties west of Grant and north of Letchworth Street. And our final article under development, big deal, Ingram Micro heading downtown. The former Highmark building at 257 West Genesee Street has snagged a significant tenant and a big win for downtown. Ingram Micro is relocating its local offices in 1,300 employees from Amherst into 4 floors of the currently vacant building at the foot of Church Street. Ingram Micro is a global technology firm providing a broad range of technology services, including financing, specialized marketing, and life cycle management, as well as technical pre- and post-sales professional support. Its local offices are currently located in a 2-story operations center located at 1759 Worley Drive that opened in 1992. Ingram leases the space from the same owner as the downtown building it is moving to, Arizona-based Orion Properties. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York moved out of the West Genesee building last year after leasing nearly 100,000 square feet of space on the 34th through 38th floors of Seneca One Tower. While Highmark had been leasing the entire 8-floor building, the insurer had been only using 3 of the floors since most of its workers have been working remotely. Several other tenants had been subleasing space in the building from Highmark, including Invest Buffalo Niagara and the Buffalo Niagara Partnership. The West Genesee Street building was developed by Ohio-based Duke Realty and opened in 2007. Current owner Orion Properties recently announced plans to upgrade the building's common areas in order to attract new office users.
Good morning. Welcome to another broadcast day on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service.